So what is really spirituality? It's become very common in today's society to say, I'm not really religious, but I am spiritual. Now, do those people really know what they're saying? What really is the definition of spirituality? And then how does it differ from religion? And so that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. And I'm also going to share with you a super, super cool project that I'm out at right now in Michoacan. And so stay tuned and let's jump into it. This is Steve, the Traveling Gringo, and I am in Michoacan, checking out this ecological park. It is about 30 hectares, and I think a hectare is a couple acres maybe, of an ecological park where they're building a completely self-sustainable environment. So growing all their own food, well water, all that. So something where you can live completely, totally off grid. And they've asked me to kind of come check it out, maybe help get some of their RV community type thing going. And so I've just been spending here for the week, but really thinking about, again, my own spirituality. And so in today's video, I'm going to share with you kind of what spirituality truly is. And as I do, of course, I'll show you around the park as well. Here's how I like to really define spirituality. It is the understanding or the pursuit of understanding of the nature of this existence. And so what does that really even mean? The nature of this existence. That means who you truly are, who God is, and we'll talk about that terminology here in a moment, who God is, and then that relationship. What's the nature of this universe? Again, if I'm going to understand the nature of my existence, I'm understanding who I am and my relationship to what this all is. And so what really is the universe? Now, how I would differ that greatly from religion is man-made ideas on how to connect with God or how to even understand the nature of your existence. So it's kind of putting rules on something, on spirituality, if you will. And again, that's true whether you're talking about, Christianity, Islam, or any other type of religion. And so it's man-made idea of this is how you need to connect with God or your higher power or source. Now, having said that, going back to the spirituality component is really understanding again, then who I am is the big one. Man, who truly am I? And then who is God? What is God? Who is God? What is God? And then what's that relationship, the symbiotic relationship between the two? Now, some of you might even be saying, well, does God really exist? Or yeah, I know God as this. Here's another issue we run into, and this is what really differs, I think, spirituality from religion as well. In religion, God is pretty well defined at some level, and I just don't think we can fully do that. I grew up in a very strict Christian home. I've got degrees in theology and such. And God is kind of pictured as a superhuman, a spiritual being. And if you call God anything other than God, then that's somehow blasphemous or sacrilegious. And so I'm not sure. Whoa, there is some crazy bee right here behind me. Woo! So let's talk about that source energy or God. So I like to use the term God just because that's my background. However, I think the negative connotation of using the term God is that many people have a predefined understanding of who or what God is. If you grew up in a typical Christian home, let's say, God is this spiritual being. He kind of maybe looks like a human with a gray beard. Maybe he kind of sits on a throne in some place called heaven somewhere. And that's just not, I don't think, realistic or consistent. Even to say God is a man, that in other words, God has gender, or to use the name God, that the term was created by human beings. God didn't say I'm God. God said I am that I am, but again, not in English. And so I think we get preconceived ideas about things rather than being open and being true seekers. And when we come to a place where we say, I know it is like this, we've cut off all other possibility. And I think there's a power in really being open to seek after God, source energy, universe, whatever's in control, whatever's breathing me, that the power that's breathing me, the power that I can't exist without because I would just die, the thing that's sustaining life, whatever we call that, the Tao, if you will. When I'm open to it and say, you know what, I don't have all the answers. I don't really know. I've never died that I can remember, and came back. I don't remember any experience like that at all. Therefore, I can't fully know. So I'm going to be a seeker, and that keeps me open to the possibility of knowing. But if I come to a place where I say, this is exactly how it is, and here's the letter of the law, First of all, my mind cannot even fully consume such a power, like it's so beyond what a human mind can comprehend, that to say that, I think, is relatively naive. But what I do is cut off all other possibility. I know in my own spiritual journey, from the time I was very young, having spiritual experiences up to, theology school and such, my understanding of God has evolved greatly, and I feel much more connected now than I ever did when I lived a much more dogmatic type life of, you got to do this and don't do this, and hit church this day and do this and do that. When I broke free and broke out of that and went into really a spiral of searching and, what's really true, I came to a place of tremendous peace and joy in my own life. Yet I also understand that I know less now than I've ever known. And I think there's some power in that. I think there's some power in being open to how God can manifest himself to you. So let me leave you with this thought. The good book says, to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And I think that's more true than maybe oftentimes we give it credit for. It's not, work out your own salvation in a dogmatic religious way. It doesn't say that. You need to connect with your source. And I think, remember, an all-powerful being, we'll just say a being, can connect with people very, very differently. It can manifest itself very, very differently. And so to try to say this is how you have to connect is really limiting that power in and amongst itself. And so spirituality is really about, understanding the true nature of this existence. And then a religion, again, is about man's definition of how to connect with God. Here's the rules to get there. And if someone says, I'm spiritual, not religious, how I take that is rather than following the rules, you're going to really discover that path. And of course, if someone's truly on it or not, that's up for them to decide. It's not for me to judge. But do understand this as I leave you, is that you'll come to an understanding where we're all one. We're all one with everything. And so it's no longer a position of judgment that this person is wrong or right or bad or this or that. It's about, we're all one. We're all in this together. We're all a part of the same creative process and creative energy and creative source. And so when we understand that we're all one, I can't hate someone. I don't judge someone, because this really would be the same as judging myself. And so with that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Like it if you did. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to see the development of this park, I think I'm going to be starting some projects up here. If you want to see the development of this park, then definitely subscribe, because it will be on here to check out. So with that, much love, peace, God bless, namaste.